Hello, everyone. Welcome to you all for joining the admission talk for the Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences. And there will be a Q&A session after the admission talk. Please type a question, if any, clicking the Q&A tab of the webinar. Okay, so let's get started admission talk today. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dr. Martin Zhang. I'm the Associate Professor of the School of Biomedical Sciences in Li Ka-shing Faculty of Medicine. So let me introduce you all about what is the biomedical sciences. So our program actually is focused on studying how our human body works, and we will lay down on all the scientific principles to understand the how we control our health, maintain our health, and at the system, at the cellular level, in order to provide insight about the human diseases. In our program, we will also introduce some of the latest advanced technology in medicine, delivery of healthcare services, and at the industry level. So why Hong Kong U studying our Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences? We have about at least 40 academic staff in our School of Biomedical Sciences, and they are doing a variety of different scientific research, and they are all research at the international recognition level. And all our staff are also involved in teaching different courses in our biomedical science program. And they provide a variety of high quality of teaching to our undergraduate students at the biomedical science program. And we also have a world-class clinical department where we collaborate with a clinician to perform our scientific research. So I just want to highlight two of our outstanding researchers in our school. The first one is Professor Danny Chan. He is our acting director of our School of Biomedical Sciences. So his research mainly focuses on understanding how our joint formation, the joint in our knees, our elbow, and because as our age, the joints actually getting deteriorated. So his research is actually focusing on how the joint cells undergo degeneration, but whether he can make use of some of the cells which not degenerated and maintain able to regenerate some of the cartilage on bony tissue at the joint for the joint treatment. Another academic staff is Dr. Stephanie Ma. She is Associate Professor in our School of Biomedical Sciences. So her research focuses on understanding how cancer stem cells contribute to the disease recurrence in liver cancer. And we know this cancer stem cell actually is contribute to most of the therapeutic failure. So her work has been well recognized and received lots of awards at the local and international level. So this is just give you an overview of our ranking from Times and QS. So you can see at the global level. So you can see at the global, we are around 29th in both ranking system, and at the Asia, we are on the 4th from Times and on the 3rd at the QS back in 2019. So our program was launched around 8 years ago, the first intake in 2012, and the first batch of graduates in 2016. So here you can see our student composition between the JUPITER and non-JUPITER stream from 2017 up to this year. So apart from local students admitted to our program, we also have a variety of international students from different countries. So you can see it's highlighted here. We have students from Albania, Australian, Indian, Indonesia, Japanese, Korean, Malaysian, Pakistan, and Sri Lankan. So we have a variety of international students admitted in our biomedical science program. So here gives you a pie chart covering the graduate's career profiling from 2016 to up to this year. So you could see that around 1/3 of our graduates actually continue their postgraduate study in our Hong Kong University and other institutions in Hong Kong. And also about 13% of students pursuing the professional degree, especially in our Hong Kong U MBBS program. And we also have around 22% students going overseas to do their research degree, for example, the PhD degree in overseas institution. And around 37 graduate already in a different position at the civil servant at our R&D pharmaceutical company or a variety of education sectors. So this program is a 4-year full-time program, and we meet 63 students in this year, 2020 to 2021. And the objective of our curriculum is to provide strategic training in the fundamentals of state-of-the-art sciences. And we aim to nurture graduates with core scientific knowledge of the basic key principle in biomedical sciences. So here is to give you an overview of our curriculum structure. So you can see in our first year and the second year, we have a more broader based biochemical, biomedical science core courses together with a common core curriculum. And the first year student required to take some language enhancement courses. And I want to highlight a student at this for the first and second year or even third year at the summertime between June and August, they are provided opportunity to do summer internship either in our Hong Kong U or overseas institution or in the industrial sectors. Okay, and I also want to highlight on the third year student can choose the some elective courses in our biomedical science program, some minors as well. I will come back to, we have 3 minors program, or you also can take our articulation program or go overseas for the exchange. And on the 4th year, student need to do a final year project or another caption project called Biomedical Innovation Team Project. Okay. So again, that's the highlight of the 3 key features of our program. So we provide lots of research opportunity at the summer, being an internship at the local in our Hong Kong U or overseas institutions or in the industrial sectors. And we have 4 articulation program on the 3rd year for students to go overseas to spend a year at one of the partner institution to experience the future career prospect in that particular program. And we do have another 3 minor programs, which are genetics and genomics, biotechnology and clinical research, and kinesiology. So for the summer internship, this is non-credit bearing experimental learning component in our program, and there's 3 different types, especially designed for students from the 1st to 3rd year student. And so covering from the local research internship, overseas research internship, and industrial internship. So the period cover is from 6 to 10 weeks internship over the summertime from June to August. Students are partly subsidized, but students would interested in either one of them required to go through the interview selection process with GPA at least 3.3, also based on the interview performance before we select students to go overseas or industrial internship. So for the final year projects, so we have 2 different choices. First is either student can choose to do a final year research project supervised by one of our faculty members in the medical faculty. So this covers around 6 to 7 months, involving more specialized field of study at the lab base. So students were given a small project supervised by one of our faculty member, have an in-depth study of particular research topic, okay, related to biomedical sciences. Another choice is called Biomedical Innovation Team Project, which is to apply integrated knowledge from what they learned in the past 3 years to how to marketing or commercializing the research product from their basic research. So there are 4 articulation programs on the 3rd year of the study since this program already launched in 2015. And the aim of having this articulation program is to build on a global study for students to explore their career interests or opportunities apart from basic research and also enhance the choices for professional degree in biomedical area. And we have partners institution, University of Sydney and Edinburgh, University of Edinburgh in UK, which provide this articulation opportunity for the third-year student in our biomedical science program. So here give you an overview of our 4 articulation choices from the University of Edinburgh, which provide the Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine and Surgery, and University of Sydney, and provide 2 master programs for physiotherapy and diagnostic radiography. Or students can choose to admit to our MBBS program on their 3rd year of articulation program. So I will come back to that with more details later on. So this just gives you an overview of the 4 articulation program on the 3rd year and the student number being admitted for each of the program. Okay. So for the articulation program at the University of Edinburgh, so student would, it is a 4-year graduate entry program at the University of Edinburgh for the Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine and Surgery. So student on the 3rd year would go on to do a 1st year of the undergraduate program at the University of Edinburgh. And after finish the 1st year, student come back to Hong Kong U to do their final year project, get their 1st degree at the Bachelor of Biomedical Science. If they're interested in go back to carry on the degree in the University of Edinburgh, then they can reapply back to the University of Edinburgh and continue for the rest of the 3 years of the Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine and Surgery. So altogether, student will get 2 degrees in 7 years. First will be the Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences. Second will be the Bachelor of Veterinary Medicine and Surgery. Okay. So here is some of the former student who was admitted for the 1st year of the this veterinary medicine program on the 3rd year of our BBMS study. And the second is the master program for the Master of Physiotherapy. This is a 2-year program. So again, the year 3 student from our biomedical curriculum would go on to do a 1st year master program at the University of Sydney. They come back to do the final year project, get the 1st degree at the Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences, and then they can go back to the University of Sydney to finish another 1.5 year of Master of Physiotherapy at the University of Sydney. So altogether, student will become a physiotherapist in 5.5 years. Another master program also at the University of Sydney called Master of Diagnostic Radiography. It's a 2-year master program, and student on the 3rd year will spend a year for the 1st year of the master program at the University of Sydney for the diagnostic radiographer, finish the final year project back in Hong Kong U, get the 1st degree at the Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences, and then go back to the University of Sydney to carry on to finish another 1.5 year of the master program at the University of Sydney. So altogether, student will become a diagnostic radiographer in 5.5 years. So finally, the 4th articulation choices would be to go on to do an MBBS program in the University of Hong Kong. So this is, you can see this slightly complicated diagram, but just bear with me, I will take you through. So student, after selection through the interview process, and they are eligible to start their MBBS articulation program on the 3rd year at the semester 2. Okay, this articulation only lasts for 6 months. Okay, so so students still need to do the biomedical science courses on the 1st semester. And then on the 2nd semester, on the 3rd year of the biomedical science program, they will switch to the 1st year at the 2nd semester of the MBBS program. So it only lasts for around 5 to 6 months. And then later on, student will go back to the 4th year to finish the BBMS curriculum to get the 1st degree. And then if student would like to carry on the MBBS study, they need to reapply through our faculty, and after selection and through the MMI interview, student will be selected and then offer a position to carry on the 2nd year of the MBBS program. But on the 3rd year, which normally has an enrichment year in our standard curriculum, but for biomedical science students, they are exempted for the 3rd year at the enrichment year. So they will just strict to the 4th, strict to the 4th, 5th, and 6th clinical year. So altogether will be 8 years. You will get 2 degrees. The first will be the Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences. The second will be the MBBS degree. So become a medical doctor in 8 years' time. So we have 3 minor choices for students to explore the research interest or study interest. So the first one is the genetics and genomics, is to mainly to focus on how we apply the genes and genomics to as a diagnostic tools to assess population health or disease, to provide some insight about the clinical practice or therapeutic treatment. Another is the biotechnology and clinical research, which to provide the useful tools to establish the process for research and some innovation strategy for translational medicine. The third is kinesiology, is to study the impact of exercise on human health and disease progression. So we also provide some student experimental learning experience. So this just highlight 2 exchange programs launched by our biomedical science. So the first one was done at the Zhejiang University back in 2014 to 15. A student went there to have a week of exchange experience at the Zhejiang University. And the second was launched at the 2016-17. A student was given opportunity to visit Shanghai at the Reading Week, spend a week there and visit some of the pharmaceutical company or research institutions to have the experimental learning opportunity. And apart from those articulation program or the student experimental learning opportunity back in China, in Hong Kong U, we also have a lot of partner institutions providing variety of exchange opportunity for students to go on to do an exchange or either on the 1st or in 2 semesters on the 3rd year of the study. So here just list a list of the overseas institutions where students will based on the interest to do either on the 1st or 2 semester exchange study in those institutions. And we understand that students graduate from the secondary school and move on to the university may not adapt to the new learning environment or learning culture. So every new student will be allocated to an academic staff. So each academic staff will take care of around up to 2 to 3 a 1st year biomedical science student. And if student has any problem in terms of choices of courses or research opportunities, articulation choices, so students have the faculty staff member to consult for advice so they can make the right choices for their future career opportunities. So now to start, I'd let you know the admission in our next year for our Bachelor of Biomedical Sciences. So here is to give you the JUPITER entrance requirement, the first 4 core subjects from the English, Chinese, mathematics, and liberal studies. So, and these are the our criteria at different levels for these 4 core subjects. And apart from the 4 core subjects, we included the 2 electives at least at the level 3 or above, with one of the foreign subjects, okay, chemistry or biology, or combined science with chemistry component, combined science with biology as one of the components. And we will pick the best 6 HKDSE subject among the category A for consideration. So we also consider this school reference report from the school principal and whether student has achieved some of the scholarship or other activity at the inter-school levels. And also we would go through the interview as well. So based on student performance, school principal report to assess their eligibility to before we admit student to our program. So here is the important dates I want to bring you to attention. So we will have 2 group interviews for the JUPITER stream. So one is before the release of the DSE result will be launched on June 23rd, 2021. Another interview will be launched after the release of HKDSE result at the end of July in 2021. So shortlisted candidate will be given only one chance of interview, either one of them. And here, I want to bring your attention to our new JUPiter scoring system. So Hong Kong U will introduce this new bonus points for the admission of a student at the JUPiter stream. So just want to highlight the new JUPiter point system will be focused on those achieved at the level 5 or above, 5-star or 5-star. So we'll be adding additional points on top of the old bonus system. So they will be adding new points in the total marks. So here is to give you the overview of the our admission score from 2017 to 2020. So just want to particularly highlight the first row is using the new bonus systems since this year. So that's why the points is slightly higher than those in the past 3 years. Okay, just because we're adding a new points on top of the old scoring system at the level of 5 or above. Okay, and here just give you the formula for taking into account on the score of mathematics. And for non-JUPITER's academic requirement, so here give you a list of our requirement or the examination which we consider for students apply for the non-JUPITER stream. So which covering for applicant which doing the GCE A-level, IB or SET, but one of the subject must be chemistry or biology. Okay, for the English requirement, so we consider this GCSE, GCE English language, IB English, and IELTS, TOEFL, SET, reasoning test as well. And for the second language requirement, at least pass in the language subject to other than English language. So Chinese language, in particular in GCSE, IGC, SE, or in other national examination. So here gave you the overview of the table, showing you the non-JUPITER admission standard for our intake. So so we have at least for 36 for IB and the 3A for GCSE, and the rest of the minimum requirement for each of the tests. So it's all summarized in this table for the applicants through the non-JUPITER admissions. Again, we also rely on the referees report, so school principal report also important. We take into consideration apart from the academic achievement and whether they also achieve some scholarship through the extracurricular activities, and also based on the interview performance. Okay, so that's all for my admission talk. So if you want to find out more about our curriculum, please go on to our school web page, which already highlighted in this slide. And we do have the media on the Instagram and Facebook. So please do go on to our web page or Facebook account and the Instagram, and to find out about the curriculum, articulation program, and our admission score. Okay, so all right, so I would like to bring in to one of our third-year students from our biomedical science programs, Miss Stephanie Lee. So she will give all of you about her sharing about our program. Okay, so I would like to bring out this Miss Stephanie. Yeah.
Oh, hey all. I'm absolutely delighted to be invited to share my story here during your of this admissions webinar, and I guess I'll just get started. Yeah, so my name is Stephanie. I am a third-year biomedical sciences student, and well, that's kind of all about me. And so I guess let's take it back to start. And I guess I know a lot of you guys right now may be trying to figure out what you're interested in, what you want to apply to. For me, the reason that I decided to go into biomedical sciences at Hong Kong U, I think mainly my story started when in high school, I started getting really kind of concerned and interested in the issues of global infectious diseases around the world. And particularly, I was really inspired by how there were different projects where people were really working together from different fields and they're trying to eradicate diseases, especially preventable ones such as maybe measles or a guinea worm disease in these developing countries. And I believe it was such an inspiring cause. So that was how it started. And then afterwards, I was considering, oh, so I'm someone who really enjoys studying biology and chemistry. I took all those electives in high school. And then, oh, I did IB, by the way. And hence I decided that this biomedical sciences was the best way or best program which would help me answer to fulfill what I was curious about learning, what I was good at academically, and also what I wanted to do in the future. So how it's going, well, first, I guess we need to make a disclaimer at this current moment is that at university, it's really not like secondary school where everything is structured for you. You have your classes, but then when you get into university, there are just such a wider range of options, and both academically and extracurricularly that you can choose from. And so every person's university experience is different. For me, apart from my academics, I also served on 2 executive committees. So one being the Biomedical Sciences Society and the rowing club here in Hong Kong U. I was part of the rowing team for 2 years, and I'm also currently a music director for a student-led theater group, and we've done a couple shows, and yeah, all of it has been extremely enjoyable. But I guess guys make me more curious about the research and the other more biomedical related things that I'm doing. In my first year, summer, under the student internship program, as Dr. Zhang had mentioned before, I had done my first internship at Professor Danny Chan's lab. An interesting coincidence, actually. Over there, as I was really just fresh and getting started, I mainly helped out with different members and the basic techniques. And I did a lot of immunohistochemistry, which means that I would be looking at a lot of mouse samples. I would help section some tissue, load them onto microscope slides, and do a lot of staining so we can really understand what's going on when their limbs are developing. Afterwards, in my second year summer, I decided in semester 2, because the pandemic started, I decided to be safe. And I kind of applied early for a project called iGEM. And so in Hong Kong U, we have a team, and every year our goal is to really kind of use synthetic biology or cloning methods, such as which are also pretty relevant in biomedical sciences, in order to introduce new genes into bacteria or yeast to different organisms so that we can use them to solve maybe real life issues. And so we're nearing the end, we're kind of wrapping up, and we're about to present our results in the coming November at an international conference, which will be held online. At the same time, in my third year, I was about to go on an articulation program, but then since our plans got kind of cut short due to the pandemic, right now what I am currently doing as part of a special arrangement under the School of Biomedical Sciences is that I am currently pursuing my final year project at year 3. So I've kind of switched around my timeline a little bit, and I would be completing this final year project under the supervision of Dr. Richard Kao in the Department of Microbiology. And it's been really exciting. I've loved every second of the lab research, and it's really interesting that to be also in this time, because I'm also working on COVID-19 related projects. So in the next steps, I'm pretty sure that I will either be trying to apply for a PhD program, postgraduate, or maybe get into the Masters of Public Health. And eventually, I really want to be part of a research team that would be helping to understand more about how different infectious diseases, emerging infections work, and how we can devise solutions to help protect our communities from these public health issues. Right. Oh, so those are a little bit more pictures. You can see labs and my participation in the student executive committees. And on the right bottom corner, this is most of my daily view in the lab, because I'm looking at a lot of tubes, a lot of samples. I'm learning a lot, and seriously, I am very, very, very happy with my current experience. And so to give you maybe a look into my actual curriculum, So we can start, I'm gonna have a full diagram kind of showing what I've been doing. So let's start with year 1, year 2 first. And I've kind of separated this half because I believe this section, the first half of your biomedical sciences degree will be pretty similar. You're really doing your Common Core, your languages, you're building up these foundations through mandatory courses such as like biochemistry, human biology. And then you're also strategizing. You're trying to pick, okay, I need so-and-so prerequisite courses in order to take the more advanced ones. So for me, I would have to take human anatomy, physiology, some molecular biology courses, labs, and in particular, out of my own interest, I looked into clinical research courses, and also one that stood out to me was BBMS 2008, which was called Contemporary Topics in Biomedical Sciences or something similar. It was too long, so I couldn't put it in. But what really stood out to me was I was really able to get exposed to the kind of biotechnology industry and also a lot of emerging technologies at the moment. And so with these prerequisite courses and with what I've done in the first 2 years, in addition to preparing for the articulation, I found myself in a position to take a lot of more advanced courses, such as maybe stem cells, one which Dr. Jering is actually a course coordinator of. I'm interested in maybe learning more about tissue engineering, biomechanics, and at long last, I am able to access microbiology, immunology, and pathology courses, those which are really at the core of what I'm interested in academically. And obviously, I'm also juggling my FYP. And as you guys remember, usually at year 3, at this current moment, most of us should be either here in Hong Kong U or on articulation or a regular exchange. But then things got mixed around a little bit. So I hope I'm not going to throw you off because mine got a little mixed up. Yeah, but so in my next year, hopefully, if the pandemic eases up, I will be able to go overseas. If not, then I will be here. I'll be enjoying more biomedical sciences courses, such as maybe cancer biology, proteomics, genomics stuff. There's really a lot to choose from. And as long as they match on your schedule, you're free to take any of them. Yeah, so that's exciting. So I guess for me, when I was preparing this sharing, I was wondering what kind of questions might come up. So I guess first, maybe you may be curious about how it's like to be attending lectures. In your first 2 years, you'll mainly be in really, really large courses. But then kind of the class sizes will kind of taper down as you get more specialized. I found it pretty, as an IB student, I found it was all right. The transition wasn't too hard. And a lot of stuff we would have, in our first year, we covered in the IB curriculum. For DSE students, I remember there were some struggles a little bit because they had a few concepts that were missing, but then they picked it up really fast. The study culture, social culture, and I guess maybe how it's affected, the last 2 questions, basically. I think what I was really struck by was how people in my cohort, they were so absolutely invested in preparing for their careers. You have people who were really knowing really clearly what they want to do for articulation. They knew how to do it. Maybe they were taking up internships, they were doing a lot of side jobs. And really it was impressive because I didn't think that everyone was going to be so driven to achieve whatever they have in their minds. And I guess what really helped through this program so far was that I've been searching for a lot of confirmation about what I wanted to do, what I thought I wanted to do. And I guess right now, with what I've learned, what I've confirmed, oh, I really enjoy this, then I know I can walk forward with confidence and keep pursuing my aspirations. Yeah, so I guess if we have a I might be skipping the slide, but what I wish I knew, some final advice for you guys is to really plan ahead, first and most, because I guess, for instance, in order to take some courses, you might need prerequisites, you might need to figure out the times, reach out and ask a lot of your professors or whoever's in charge, because I'm pretty sure they will be very willing to answer your questions. Second of all, be patient, because, well, as I've been saying, because sometimes it will take a lot of slow building up from the bottom in order for you to get to the advanced, more current topics. One thing I've learned really, really important is to set boundaries for yourself, because there's just so much going on. Yes, I'd really encourage everyone to go out and try everything. But at the same time, if it's something that you're not enjoying, not to your liking, remember that you can always say no and walk away after fulfilling some basic responsibilities. Always question why you're doing whatever you are doing. This is important in your courses, of course, your lab work in science. It's a very important mentality to be keeping. And finally, if anyone is kind of feeling anxious about their futures right now, don't worry, because I think really everything happens for a reason, and every choice, there's nothing wrong, there's no wrong choice really. Everything you experience, it will contribute to the person that you will be about to become. So with that, I will also leave you guys an extra point of contact, the Biomedical Sciences Society, and their Instagram page and their email. Oh, they are run by students, student representatives, especially maybe fellow year 1, year 2 students, and they will be more than happy to answer any questions you guys may have. So also save this, follow this account, I suppose, yeah. And that's all I will have. And we may move on to the Q&A session right now.
Yeah. Thanks, Stephanie, for wonderful sharing. I hope all students and parents have an overall idea about our program. And actually, we provide lots of choices for students especially we have an articulation program for career perspective. So now we should come to the Q&A. So the first question is, what does it take to articulate to MBBS from biomedical sciences, like extremely good results, high GPA? So you need to achieve at least minimum GPA for 3.6. And we do have an interview, so you have to pass an interview. Okay, so the second question is, can I articulate to MBBS without taking chemistry as an elective in HKDSE? The requirement for the MBBS articulation is to attend at least, as I said, just for the first question, to reach at least minimum GPA 3.6, and together with a pass for the interview. But for the BBM admission through the JUPITER, either chemistry or biology is required. Okay. So what is the GCE A-level average score to enter this program? Is there any conditional offer for GCE A-level students? So candidate with predicted or actual score of 3A may be shortlisted for interview. We may give conditional offer, but based on the interview as well. Fourth, when and how will IB student do the interview? So for the NonJUPiter interview will be around December 18th of this year and April 19th in 2021. And if need to attend either one of them, okay? And all the interview will be conducted in English. The fifth, for biomedical science graduate, if I choose to apply MBBS, do I need to study from year 1? Yeah, BBMS student who complete the MBBS articulation pathway will get exemption for the first and the third year of MBBS study. Okay. The seventh question is, if I have a biomedical science degree and want to pursue MBBS, do I still need to study for all the years in MBBS? If you have completed the MBBS articulation program, you will get partial exemption for the first and third year of the program, and then you go straight to the second year and then fourth, fifth, sixth articulation clinical years. If I apply for the MBBS medicine program as my first choice and the BBMS biomedical science program as my second choice, will I still be considered for biomedical sciences? For NonJUPiter admission, candidate who put BBMS as the third choice may be shortlisted for interview. So first choice only. Will application be considered if the program is put in Band B? Students are strongly recommend to put our choices, BBMS choices, in Band A. Okay. So what is the minimum mark required in IB for admission? The answer is 36. How many students per year can get into MBBS through this articulation? For annual quota is around 5. Is an IB student still eligible if they have not taken Chinese but can write and speak the language? So Chinese is not a must for the requirement. DSE result, any weighting score is higher for specific subject? No, there's no any specific. Is lowest DSE requirement 35? What is the average DSE admission score last year? So lower, medium, upper quarter score in 2020. I mean, this year were 39, 39, and 41 respectively. For interview in English or Cantonese, individual or group interview we all conducted in English only. Can music and other language be counted as one of the basic subjects? We will count a category A subjects only. What required subjects are needed for advanced placement exam? Lower boundary of redesign set 1,350 and AP exam, level 3 in each of the 3 subjects. What is the career prospect after study? So students can go on to do research either in our local institutions or pursue postgraduate study in overseas institutions, or you can go to the pharmaceutical company to do R&D, research and development. And also now we, in the science part, they do have a startup for students who are interested in pursuing the entrepreneur or industry business. So if you have any other question, please feel free to drop your question in our chat room through the virtual booth, or send us email at sbms@hku.hk. Okay, thank you very much for all of you attending our admission talk. And if you have any question, please do go to the chat room and I'm happy to answer every single question. Okay, thank you very much. Bye-bye.